Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Shutshimi, Seriously Swole. That title is utter bollocking nonsense. What? Shutshimi? I don't even know how the hell you'd come up with a title like that. Anyway, so I've been playing this for about an hour, just so you know. If we go have a look at the options, and I like doing this because we actually have options for visuals. Now, if you have epilepsy or anything like that, you probably don't want to be watching this video, because if I get a specific modifier, it will probably give you an epilepsy attack. It's kind of ridiculous. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show it off anyway, so just, you know, if you have epilepsy of any kind, just ignore this. You can also change the BGM type, and 2IO3 and VRC6 might not mean anything to most of you. They're actually NES sound chips. VRC6 is a Konami sound chip, I should say, that I think was the one included in Castlevania 3, and 2IO3 is just the default one. I recommend keeping it on VRC6 because it just sounds better, but whatever. We've also got the extras, which gives you statistics, and this is where you also come to get your leaderboards. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to want to show you past the top 15 for some reason, but it'll show me at number 11 just fine for some reason. We've also got Heartless mode, which I am currently number 5 on. Hooray. You can check the credits. You can see the Chapapedia, which actually shows you all the hats you've gotten. I've gotten a third of the hats. And every one of these hats gives you a specific set of abilities. Some of them are active, most of them are passive, or at least what I've seen so far. You can check your awardments, which are basically your achievements, but this game's only got the 12 trophies. The in-game one has a full 32. And party time! For some reason, they let you unlock this. This is a mode that shows up as a random pickup in the game, but you can just sit here and watch it play anyway. So yeah, remember what I said about the epilepsy? Yeah. Also, this is actually making my capture kit slow down. It's not the game's frame rate dropping, it's the capture kit freaking out, so I better stop that for the moment. Anyway, we'll go back to the menu and we'll start the game. We've got a couple of different modes. We've got an easy mode, normal mode, and a hard mode. The hard mode, however, is a little strange because you need to get through normal mode without shooting anything, so I would actually recommend doing that right off the bat, but for the purpose of demonstration, we're also going to play normal mode. There's also a boss rush mode, but there's really no point playing that until you've unlocked all the bosses, which I haven't done yet, all things considered. You can choose what fish you have, but as you can see, it basically means stuff all, so might as well go with the red one. So Shutshimi is a very simple concept. It's a shooter, and a fairly simple one too. They call it a cute-em-up, but it's not really much of a cute-em-up. And at the end of every wave, which are very, very short, you get these three... You get these three items here. And they're procedurally generated, so you don't know what they are. Except they're not really procedurally generated that well, because that text down the bottom will tell you exactly what it's going to give you. So if you're quick enough at reading the text boxes, you can see just what item you're going to get every single time. So it's a little bit disappointing, honestly. I would have liked it if it was just pure random, where you can, but then again, it would be kind of unfair, but nevertheless, yep, here's party time. There are a lot of these item modifiers, which is not so much of a surprise considering the game is basically based around them. They have all sorts of different effects, like there are some that give you a brand new hat, but there are also some really lousy ones like this one, which make the camera go upside down. There are also bosses every 5 waves, but they also last as short of a time as the regular waves. So if you do manage to kill the boss the first time you see it, you do get a score bonus. But, yeah. Also, the game highlights the relevant text that tells you what the power-ups are for the first 5 waves, but then it just doesn't do it. In the normal mode, at the very least, you get... Perfect demonstration there. You get, like, 2-3 lives, something like that. On the Heartless mode, you only get 1 life, and when you get 2500 score on the normal mode, you get a bonus life. So this is basically the game. I will admit the gimmick of having the items be procedurally selected is amusing, and it is actually quite fun. For, I don't know, about, well, the original hour. I'm still having fun with it, but there isn't as many random selections of items as you might expect. I mean, the hats do come along very rarely. Like, here's a new hat. And I have Guile's hair, so I assume there's some sort of sonic boom effect going on here. Did I just lose the game? I did. We'll go again. So there is a fair amount of random stuff to get, but I've seen a fair amount of it already. Most of the unique effects are hidden behind hats, and these hats only come along every few times. It's a little bit disappointing, honestly, mainly because you just end up getting the same modifiers over and over again, and it can get quite dull after a while. And I'm talking at the same time I'm playing, so it might not be completely obvious, but at the same time, it's just... the game is surprisingly easy. Like, really easy once you know what you're doing. I mean, sure, Heartless Mode kicks it up a notch, and once you've beaten, like, the first 3 bosses, the game really does kick up in difficulty and actually provide a challenge, but for these first few waves... hello, Commander Video, I was expecting you to make another cameo. For the first few waves, it's... god damn it. For the first few waves, it's just surprisingly dull. You just end up finding the one that gives you as much help as possible, and then you just... you know, you just fight through the... what feels like the same waves over and over again, and I'm really not doing well at this. I guess I'll go with a rapid fire. The shooting itself isn't particularly deep. Obviously, the main part of the game is meant to be the randomness with all the items that you can pick up, especially since you have a very low amount of time to actually pick which one you want. It's just... there's really not that much else to it. Like, there's no pickups. I mean, other than the store, there's no pickups to get. There are different weapons that you can get. And they are just a little bit... I mean, they're pretty basic weapons. There's not much to them. You get just a couple of things like a cannonball, which are unique because you have to be constantly just, you know, moving upwards. So you have to be, you know, arcing your cannonballs down. And there's a couple of other weapons that, like, fire really fast. And there's a shotgun, which makes the game entirely more challenging. But it's nothing too far out of the ordinary, honestly. Oh, great. I'm invisible. Bloody hats. Oh, well. I beat the boss pretty easily. Here's a mucus launcher. The enemy variety is somewhat decent, but when you're playing the first few waves over and over again because you got killed in the later waves, it just kind of gets annoying as hell. Oh look, invisible with inverted movement. I don't think I stand much of a chance here. Not at all. So yeah, the game basically, the only depth in the game comes from these random items. Great, double speed and invisible. This will be fun. Frictionless water. It's just once you've played this game for about an hour, you've seen the absolute majority of the mutations that can come through. And once you've seen the absolute majority of the mutations, it's just not the same. I mean, the concept is enjoyable for as long as it keeps giving you fresh mutations, right? And since there's no mutations that I haven't already seen, or at least a very low amount that I haven't already seen, it's just going to be the same thing over and over again. And that's the thing that worries me about this game, because the stacking... let me try that again. The staying power it has is related directly to the amount of mutations there are. Hold on, sorry. The capture kit appears to be having a fit. Okay, I think it's gone and fixed itself, so let's just resume, right? Nope! Hold on. We've got a problem. Alright, I need to just activate the different mode. This should do it. There we go. So, yeah, it looks like crap now. I'm sorry about that, but it's the game picking that background. Now that it's done, we can put it right back. There we go. So, it's enjoyable for the first hour, but once you've seen everything there's to see, which happens very quickly, it's just some fairly repetitive, decent, but still not particularly deep shooter. And I would recommend playing on Heartless mode if you're looking for a challenge, because, well, since in that mode you only get 1 life and there's more enemies, but there's a score bonus at the end of it for you, so you can play and at least, you know, try and get a really high score without dying, because not dying in this game is fairly difficult, but you do earn extra lives pretty quickly in the normal mode, so yeah. It's really not bad, and it's enjoyable for the hour that it gives you everything, but I just find myself a little bit disappointed now that I've seen pretty much everything there is in this game. My guess is that the crown I just got is something that gives me bonus score. Probably worth keeping that on for as long as possible. I'll play until I fail next. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's severe loneliness. I guess I'll just grab this. Oh, yeah. So yeah, my main problem with this game is basically it needs more stuff in it. Honestly, that's the one problem I have with it. It just doesn't have enough stuff to keep it interesting for longer than an hour or so. I mean, sure, the bosses are fun to fight, but again, it's just so short. It's a clever idea, though. Maybe if they made it a little bit deeper than just having 1 or 2 sets of just random pickups to pick from, and maybe had it so that there was like a few hundred pickups. Like, imagine Binding of Isaac mapped to a 2-dimensional shooter. That would work pretty well. I guess that's kind of what they had in mind here. Although, to be fair, with how overpowered some of these pickups can be, I can understand why they didn't want to, like, make a full-on system out of it all. But yeah, it's just, it just gets dull pretty fast. I really don't have anything else to say about it. I mean, the visuals are really nice. I mean, obviously it's that, you know, 2-dimensional indie style that pretty much every indie game is going with these days because they can't afford to do anything else. But at least this has some significant effort and talent put into it. Here comes the harder part of the game, by the way, so I probably will end up, you know, dying very quickly. And losing all my lives. Like that. That's got some talent put into it, and I quite like it. And then the next boss shows up as a shadow, and we're immediately put onto the next screen. So let's grab the safest thing in the world. But yeah, here's where you can see where it starts to get a little nuts. Yeah, look at all these bastards. Okay, yeah, it appears that the game is going to go absolutely freaking nuts again. This is not going to go very well. Yeah, not your fault that it's like this, guys. It's literally just the capture kit being an absolute bell end. But we'll just have to play like this for the entirety of this level. But yeah, as you can see, it does get a lot more harder later on. Like, why isn't there an option to start the game here? If there was an option to start the game here, then it would be a ton better for the replayability, because this actually shows a fair amount of challenge in dodging and stuff like that. Alright, I better put the trans mode back to normal. So just overall, it's a fun game. Not gonna deny that. It's just... It's got surprisingly little content for the concept. And... This is actually a boss I haven't fought before. It's just the same thing, but it's surprisingly more painful. Well, I mean, fair enough, but yeah. I'll just die a few times now. Not waste any more of you guys' time. Gentlefish and a scholar. Who would have thought? Oh. Well, that was an interesting little visual effect. It's all been replaced with teacups. But anyway. That was a look at Shutshimi. It wears its welcome out due to the fact that it has no content left after about an hour. It's a good game nonetheless. It's just, if you're gonna actually buy it, expect it to be repetitive. I don't know how much this is gonna be, because this is gonna go up on the day it actually launches, and after it's actually launched. If it's under 10 bucks and you don't mind the repetitiveness of it, it's probably worth a buy. I just hope it isn't any more expensive than that, because I can't justify anything more than 10 bucks for something that doesn't have that much content left in it after about an hour's worth of play. So, yeah. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.